everyone to the PEDs podcast, better known as Partially Entertained Discussions. Here I have my beautiful co-hosts, Cooper Williams, aka Big Country. You want to start them off, let them know what we're going to be talking about?
We're going to just kind of get going, introduce ourselves, our background, how we met, and then we'll get into NFL, our predictions, whether it's matchups, Super Bowl predictions, AFC, NFC. We'll get into the NFL award predictions, and then we'll get into fantasy. We'll get that going.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, kind of like how we met, what were we, like 13, 14 years old?
Yeah, almost going into high school, yeah.
Yeah, just about to enter high school, playing club ball. We've been boys ever since, so we've always enjoyed talking sports together, just shooting the shit. And we both like podcasts a lot, so we thought, you know what, let's start our own podcast, give it a go. And a little more insight into the name of our podcast. So PEDs is actually an acronym in the sports world, and it stands for performance enhancing drugs. So that's why we chose it, but we wanted to mix it up.
In case you were stupid enough to watch a podcast and not have any idea about what that stood for.
Yeah.
Now you know.
If you look closely in our logo, there's actually like a little pill surrounding PEDs.
What? No way. That's crazy. Oh my god.
Yeah, he didn't even know that. Dropping bombs already. But yeah, and then the partially entertaining discussions is because neither of us are professional entertainers. But I mean, we're going to do our best to keep you guys entertained and like in tune in our podcast.
Yeah.
And you know, we appreciate all kind of feedback, any constructive criticism. We're always open to it. We want to have you guys enjoy as much as possible. So, you know, tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. What we can change up. We're open to everything.
Yeah, we'll cover. We'll kind of talk about mostly what's happening and what's current. As of now, that's obviously the NFL. NFL kind of rules all. We got baseball coming up. We got playoffs coming up. We'll talk about golf here and there, especially when we got big tournaments coming up or any Brooks and Bryson type of beef that we need to cover. Eventually, we'll get into NBA once that starts picking up again. But for right now, you know, we're gonna stay with what's current. Yeah. Our goal is to drop multiple episodes a week covering the different sports and covering everything that's happening in the sports world. We're going to try to be as active as we can. We would like you guys to request ideas for us whenever we do any sorts of segments of prediction making, betting. My partner here created a wheel of punishment that we got right here. We're gonna decorate it. We're gonna make it all colorful.
Give it some pizzazz.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Look at it. Look at this. Look at that. Just wonderful. Engineering at its finest. So yeah, you guys do us a favor and just leave us ideas for what we can put on this wheel of punishment for any prediction that we come up short on. You know.
Yeah.
We'll hold ourselves to it. Post videos of the punishments taking place, and you know, there's not going to be any prediction or bet that goes without punishment being involved between us. You know, I think that's only fair. You know?
Yeah.
All right.
Beautifully said.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So, with that introduction, you want to get started into our NFL talk?
Yes, sir. I'm ready for it. Let's
all right.
roll.
So we are filming on a Saturday. The Bucks and Cowboys game just took place on Thursday. That was exciting. I mean, great way to open up a year.
Oh, dude, great game.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
I mean, Brady, it felt like, and I wasn't even really able to watch it, but I could, you know, just going back, rewatching the highlights and all of the big moments in the game, it felt like whatever QB had the ball at the end was going to win. It's kind of that's the vibe I got, and when you're going against Brady, you don't want him to have the ball last.
Absolutely not.
You know, that's not,
he's the
not
master.
A good recipe. Yeah.
He's the master of the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, I mean, and you got all those weapons. They got a full year under their belt. They got everybody back from the championship winning team. Doesn't happen. I don't know the numbers. I think it's only happened like once or twice before. I don't know. And the last QB to go back to back was Brady, right? 03, 04, I think is what it was.
I wasn't even watching football at that point. I was like 5 years old, so I couldn't tell you. But
that. I mean, that just speaks to his longevity and greatness, right? I mean, we were fucking what?
Yeah.
You know, 5, 6. Yeah, and he was tearing it up, winning Super Bowls back then. Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure there's like at least a handful of players in the league right now that weren't even born yet when he was drafted.
Definitely. Probably some guys on his own team, which is kind of a little weird. I think he's like almost 10 years older than his offensive coordinator. I'm pretty sure.
No shit.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, dude. And again, that guy's probably gonna get a head coaching job here in the next few years. All right, so let's get into it. We're gonna go AFC, NFC picks, and Super Bowl picks to start it off. So I'll give mine. Huge shocker here, coming out of nowhere. I got the Kansas City Chiefs coming out of the AFC.
Wow, that's a hot take.
As the favorites. Yep. And then I got them playing Green Bay Packers coming out of NFC. Full disclosure, I'm a Bears fan, so I've had a front row seat to the torture of Aaron Rodgers and what is now his combo with Devontae Adams. I really think they are going to break through this year. I think they're going to get past the Bucks. I think so, but I do have them losing to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But I'm buying in a little bit to the Last Dance, the whole deal they got there with him and Adams.
The pictures they posted.
I'm buying into it a little just because I think that mentality is what Rodgers has. Like he is that kind of like win at all cost type of player. Like I think he's willing to put the vendettas aside and just be the best that he can be. And I think that he's still in his prime. Like based off last year, I think that's a fair thing to say. I don't think that's a reach at all. I think he's still got it. And like I said, I'm a Bears fan. I have to be a part of it twice a year against my own team. For how long? I think they're like 3-17 past 20 matchups against the Packers. So I've witnessed it. I think it's gonna happen. But I do think he loses to Kansas City. Yeah, those are my predictions there. What do you got?
Well, before I get to my predictions, I do just want to say that what you said about Rodgers, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I also do think he is the best pure quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to hypothetically put him into Brady's position, like with the Patriots teams that he had,
same coach.
I think, same coach,
that's huge. Yeah.
same rosters. Yeah. I think Rodgers might have had a couple more Super Bowls than Brady.
I totally agree with you. And that's where the best ever argument is. It's something that you literally can't physically prove as a fact. Right, so that's why it's even worse when you start comparing sports. Like, who's better, Brady or Jordan at what they did? It's just stupid. Like you can't. Yeah. And then you got the basketball, which is a whole different topic. But generation to generation. I mean, come on, games change year to year almost. Like just based off of styles of play. I think it's silly to say that you know for a fact this is the best person ever. I would just choose Rodgers based off of talent alone. But how do you argue with Brady? I mean,
Yeah, no knock on Brady, like dudes.
I mean, you can't argue. I mean, and his best thing is also something you can't measure. It's his mind, like it's his approach, his game plan, like all stuff that's not something you would consider like a physical talent.
Yeah, Brady definitely has that MJ mentality, competitiveness.
You can't measure that like a 40, or arm strength even.
Well, my argument with the whole Rodgers thing is that he does have the best touchdown interception ratio of all time.
And that's what you want out of your quarterback.
Like someone who doesn't turn the ball over. Makes good decisions on throws.
And just had his best year of his career.
Yeah. But moving on from that, we'll get to my predictions for champions for the conferences, AFC, NFC, and Super Bowl champ. I'm with Cooper. I got the Chiefs winning the AFC. Patty Mahomes just...
So we both have the Chiefs.
Yeah.
How tough was it to not pick the Bills?
Honestly, not that tough.
Really?
Patty Mahomes is just... That man is unreal.
Yeah.
Like, going back to the Super Bowl last year, when he threw an absolute dime, I think it was like 40 yards or something, and his body was parallel to the ground.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it just bounces off his receiver's face.
He's the most talented. I mean, he's Rodgers with just a better situation off the bat.
Yeah.
Is what he, with probably even a little bit more talent.
And they
raw talent,
Yeah, they improved their O-line this offseason, right?
Yeah.
Like, they added a couple guys?
they got a few guys. The dude from the Bears, that was Kyle Long, I want to say, right? I think they got him. They came out of retirement. They traded. Right? Yep, they traded. He retired from the Bears. Don't blame him. Don't blame him. Who else? They traded. I forget the guy's name, but they traded in the offseason, pretty early in the offseason, for the tackle for the Ravens. I forget his name. I want to say something Brown.
Orlando Brown.
Yep. So they also have, I think, 2, maybe even 3 rookies starting on the line. So we'll see. But we saw why they lost, right? I mean, one is obviously just how great that Bucs defense was, and 2, I think Eric Fisher tore his Achilles or something, right? Like going into either playoffs or the Super Bowl, like you don't have the O-line. I don't care who you are, you're not going to be as successful as you can be. Like as with a good line, he's always had a good line. He's had some of the best targets at the position, if not the best. definitely with Kelsey. And I think people don't realize that he wouldn't be nearly what he was or is now if he was drafted to the Jets. You know, like he's just not.
Mahomes?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the situation he got put in was like probably
That's what's
the best
that's
situation.
huge. Yeah.
But he's making the most of it though.
Yeah. But that'll be. We both have them going, but I think Bills will
Yeah.
give him a run for the money. All right. Back to your pick. Sorry.
So yeah, no, we're good. We're just spitting some jargon, whatnot. So for my NFC Championship pick, I have the Rams.
I like it.
I think Matthew Stafford is one of the most underrated quarterbacks to play the game.
Yeah.
Like he played for the Lions his whole career.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really have to explain that.
But, I mean,
Lions are.
This is it though. Money where your mouth is. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, Rams got one of the best O-lines, great defense, great offensive-minded head coach in Sean McVay. I think Matthew Stafford is probably going to have one of the best years of his career, if not the best.
Yeah, I think he's going to bring out the best in Cooper Kupp and Woods as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I actually have the Rams beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
All right. That makes it. I mean, that's way spicier than my Kansas City Chiefs pick. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I think that'll be a fun, exciting team to watch. I just think that their route through that division is going to be tough, and I don't think they're very deep as far as if somebody even on their offense, but if they're not, especially on their defense, like Aaron Donald goes down, Ramsey goes down, some of their big name guys go down. I don't know what they really have behind it, but we'll see. I think it'll be fun, especially just watching that whole division throughout the season. It'll be good. All right. So now let's get into our sleeper picks. We tried to pick sleepers without. I mean, it depends on who you are, I guess. Depends on
let's explain it first real quick. So the sleeper picks are, we each pick 3 teams that aren't projected to have that good of seasons or are on the bottom 15 of the power rankings.
Tried.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah.
It was hard because
I think it's almost like we're playing more favorites, but not really. Just kind of, our personal thoughts, which is more what it's supposed to be anyway. So we'll name the over-under. We'll say whether we're going over or under, and we'll list our projected records for them. So I got, off the bat, Patriots. I don't know if this is necessarily a sleeper to everybody. I think based off last year, that's my only reasoning for them possibly being considered a sleeper. But their over-under win total is projected at 9.5. I have them going over, obviously, because they're my sleepers. They're all over. But I have them going 11-6, finishing a game behind the Bills at 12-5, and getting the wild card right above the Dolphins. That's where I have them going. Let's just switch off. So what's your first sleeper?
So my first sleeper, should I go with the biggest sleeper or my favorite sleeper pick?
Let's build up to the one that might surprise people most.
Okay. Well, my least sleeper pick, I guess.
Okay.
That
was mine, Patriots.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Is my team, the Indianapolis Colts.
God. Unbiased, guys. We're unbiased. Let me put my Bears in there as Super Bowl contenders. Jesus.
Oh, I only say that because they're currently ranked 16th on the NFL power rankings. So they're bottom 15 team, and they have one of the top O-lines in the NFL. Great young defense, a nice supporting cast, like a lot of young players. Not one of the most dominant wide receiver cores, but I do think a lot of the wide receivers are very young and talented.
I think they're missing that playmaker, and I think Pittman.
I think
he can be, right?
Yeah, he's to prove himself, but I think he has potential.
Like that, and I don't know how alike Pittman and Mooney are on the Bears, but the Bears have that fallback of Allen Robinson, right?
Yeah.
What do the Colts have, right? Just trying to compare. Like that's where I think that when they're trying to go up against the Chiefs, right? What do they have to keep up with that style of play, which is ultimately what's been in the past 2 seasons, what takes that conference.
Yeah.
Right? That's that style of play. And like we saw the Raiders try to do the same thing as if they have Mahomes when they drafted Ruggs, right? Like, oh yeah, we can just do the same thing drafting that style. So I like the Colts though. I do. I think I just give you grief, but I think Wentz, if it's gonna work for him anywhere, it's gonna work with the Colts, right?
Yeah.
I do love their offensive line. You got Wentz and Nelson coming back for this week, which is huge. I think you guys' schedule is extremely hard with or without those guys, right?
Yeah, I think they're one of the toughest in the league this year.
Yeah, so I mean, I like them as a team. I think they have a good up-and-coming young defense. Not even know if they're up-and-coming anymore. They're just good.
Yeah.
I think you're just missing a playmaker or two.
Okay.
And then the sure production at QB. That's really it.
Yeah, no, our biggest missing piece is the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, we go from Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby, I love you. He's an awesome dude, but he was just not a franchise quarterback in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah.
And then we got Phillip Rivers, who...
Placeholder.
What's that?
He was a placeholder. That's all he
Yeah.
was. I mean, and that's...
Like,
he
bridge
knew it.
QB,
Everybody knew it.
basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like... My 12-year-old cousin can throw the ball harder than him, to be honest.
No, but he did his job. He got you guys to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You guys made a move. You went all in for what you think is your future. Whether that's going to work or not is to be seen. I mean, he played like MVP at one point. You know?
Yeah.
So.
And he's back with his offensive coordinator at the
Yeah.
time from his MVP season, who is now the Colts head coach.
Yeah. So and that's why. Yeah. Yeah. I think he's where he wants to be too, which is huge. Like just for his mental side of it all, that's what I think is still holding him back. Obviously, I don't think that's a secret, but him being where he wants to be and comfortable is a good start for it. So we'll see.
Yeah, sports are definitely a big mental game.
Yeah. All right. So my next pick is a sleeper, and it's semi-interesting. I got the Panthers. Their over/under win total is projected at 7.5. I got them going 8-9. So barely. It's not like I think they're making the playoffs, right? I just think that they are a team that has so much talent and a great head coach. I forget the guy's name, the guy out of Baylor. I think that
I'm blanking on it too.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking. Okay, yeah. I think he is a great head coach. I think McCaffrey coming back. I think DJ Moore could be known across the league now as possible, like one of the top tier, 1 or 2 tiers wide receivers. I think he's that good. I don't think you get worse with Darnold coming in from Bridgewater, right? I mean,
No.
at worst you stay the same as far as what you can do, but you're also getting possibly, in my opinion, the best offensive talent, sure thing, going into the season in McCaffrey, as long as he's healthy. So I just think I think they're a little shaky at defense, obviously. That's why I don't have them going as like a playoff team that actually has any sort of chance. I just think people are really down on them, talking about top 3 picks in the league. I don't see that. That's all. Not super spicy, but
Yeah, no, I hear
I
you.
got them going, just right above what their over/under is. That's all. Yeah. Who you got next?
Yeah, no, the Panthers were one of my teams. They were my kind of spiciest pick, but since you brought them up, I'll
Sorry.
bring them up now.
Sorry. My bad. I didn't know.
Yeah, so like their preseason ranking 27th in the NFL.
I just don't see that.
No.
It's too much talent.
Yeah,
Too
like you
much.
said, like CMC's back.
Yeah.
Good, like nice head coach.
I think Darnold, I think it's weird, like how much he was being talked about, right? Before up to getting traded. And now I feel like we haven't heard a peep
I actually like Darnold.
at all. I think that there is something there that still has to be seen.
Yeah,
Just
like he has to prove
like I
something,
said, like,
but
he gets drafted to the Chiefs, right? Completely different, probably, opinion on
100%.
right?
So not as good as Patty, but
yeah, I mean,
whole
we saw it
different
with
story.
Tannehill, right? With the Dolphins, not a good situation for him back then. Now he's kind of thriving in the offense he's in now. Like, you don't, so much of it is that relationship with the coach and just is the offense, how ready is it to be, like, for you to come into it, So I think he's definitely adding a lot of talent going from Jets to the Panthers. So I just think that they're not going to be a bottom 5 team in the league. I don't see it.
And when you get drafted to the Jets, dude, like, it's no coincidence that
I mean,
Jets is 4 letters and Joke is 4 letters, and they both start with J. Put 2 and 2 together.
yeah, it's kind of like, being a quarterback for the Bears almost, right? Your career is just over before it started.
Yeah. I think Zack Wilson would do good for the Jets.
I think I
think he's
like I
better
said,
than
like,
Darnold,
what
to
if
be honest.
Mahomes got drafted to the Jets? I'm not putting him on Mahomes' level yet, but he's got the kind of arm talent as Mahomes does, almost. I mean, I would say just raw talent. I'm not saying production yet, but we're getting that crazy talented quarterback on an awful team. We're getting that. We're going to see how it plays out.
Well, they do have a new head coach now.
We saw it with Burrow, too, but they got Robert Saleh,
They
right?
got Gase out of there.
Yeah, but he's a defensive guy. So, and that kind of leads me, that point right there leads me to my next sleeper team in the Falcons. And it's Matt Ryan with the first time, I think, maybe in his career with the offensive-minded guy as a head coach, okay? So they're my kind of bigger pick for my sleepers. Their over-unders listed at 7.5 as well, and I got them going 9-8, okay? So right above 500. I think Matt Ryan, with an offensive-minded head coach, is going to just flourish. I think Ridley is easy candidate for targets, led targets in the NFL.
He's a dog, dude.
Yeah, and I'm not even I mean, we'll get into it later. I drafted him for fantasy with technically my second pick, right? I mean, I think he's just going to feast off the opportunity. Like, I don't even consider him, if I was just going talent, he'd probably be my top 5 as wide receivers, but I think he could be 1-2 conversation as far as value. I mean, I just think that offense is insane. I think Kyle Pitts is going to fit right in. I think Matt Ryan is just going to carry his team, carry that offense to a winning record. We'll see if it really does anything for him. I just think that offense could be pretty good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Who's your third sleeper?
My third sleeper, ranked 20th in the preseason rankings, is the Washington football team.
Yeah. I didn't even know they were 20th. I would have put them on here. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Tell me why. Tell me why you put them on there.
they have a really nice young defense.
Yeah.
I don't think it's talked about enough.
Yeah.
Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, De'Aaron Payne, if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
Their nose tackle. They have Landon Collins too, right? Is their safety?
I believe so.
Hard-hitting dude. And also, like, they have Antonio Gibson on offense. Really good, versatile running back. Good in the receiving game, good in the running game. Terry McLaurin, I really like him as wide receiver. I think he's underrated.
He'll finish the season as top 10 considered wide receiver.
Yeah, he gets really good separation.
Yeah.
Nice hands.
Yeah, he's a very good receiver. I think a return of Curtis Samuel in a few weeks will help him too. He just got put on the IR. I think I'm right there with you, and that is my. I don't know if it's a risky call, but I think after this season, I think that's where Aaron Rodgers ends up, and I think that team. I think they run away with that division.
And Logan Thomas is not a bad tight end either.
Yeah,
he's not great, but
he's above par.
Yeah,
the tight ends aren't that deep as far as talent in the NFL. Yeah, I think they got enough weapons. I would say, if we're comparing weapons, right? We'll probably come back to the Bears a lot, but I compare them to the Bears kind of weapon, like the good receivers, pretty good running back, pretty good tight end, right?
But the thing
good enough to win with an elite QB.
That's the thing that the Washington football team has that the Bears don't. Ryan Fitzmagic, baby.
Oh God.
He's coming out and winning an MVP this year.
Yeah. His September record is second to none. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but I do think Fitzmagic is good enough and has enough experience.
Yeah, we'll see.
To lead them to a winning record.
I like him. I don't think that's the way it should be phrased. I think that defense is so dang good that they're going to lead them to a winning record.
Well, I mean, you want a good game managing quarterback to keep your defense off the field.
Yeah, is he
so
good
if
enough
you have
to
a
do
good
it for
defense,
17 games? When was the last time he's done that? It's been all we hear about. He earned Fitzmagic in what, the first week of a season when he was with the Bucs, right?
Pretty sure when the Jets were a playoff team, 6 years ago or something, and he was with
25 years. Oh, yeah.
No, they actually. I'm pretty sure they won.
I know. It's been a while.
I'm talking off the top of my head right now, but I'll probably clip a stat or something. But
I like him.
He's had a few good career years.
He's like a poor man's end of his career Alex Smith. I would take Andy Dalton over him. I really would. I don't know. To finish a full season, he's done it. And I don't know. He's a placeholder, and I think Aaron Rodgers goes there and tears it up next season.
Yeah, I don't think Fitzmagic.
So it's a Super Bowl ready team with a legit quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think he's the quarterback.
It's almost comparable to the Colts.
He's good enough to get the job done.
Yeah.
And get them to a winning record. So 9-8. That's my prediction for their record.
Yeah.
He's not going to get them to the Super Bowl and win it.
Would you be happier just based off your fandom, right? Let's say you would keep Wentz and coach, right? You would keep your head coach, keep your quarterback, swap the Colts with the Redskins or the Washington football team. I'm sorry. Washington football team. Would you swap the teams right now? Be honest.
No, I do think the Colts
You're a liar.
I'm not.
You're a liar.
Colts have a really good young defense.
So the Washington defense has proved it way more than the Colts are. You don't think?
Colts have a better O-line.
Yeah.
They have a top 2
Washington
O-line,
has better
and they're
weapons.
not 2.
I think Washington has better weapons. I think the Browns have the best O-line.
Fair.
I don't even think that one's that close. I think the Colts are second. I don't know how close they are.
Colts
Browns
had
have the best all-line in football, dude.
Colts had 2 all-linemen in the top 100 NFL players rankings that dropped this year, just recently.
Yeah.
And they also have
really
Eric
good.
Fisher.
That's why, we are comparing them, right? They're comparable teams. That's the that's the point.
I mean, like
but
you said before.
I think that team is legit.
I mean, I think Jonathan Taylor is a better running back than Antonio Gibson.
Me too. Yeah, but
that's
I'm
one
taking,
weapon they have over them.
I'm taking Terry McLaurin over any receiver you guys have.
That's 100% fair.
Yeah,
like,
and maybe even Logan Thomas.
I would love to have Terry McLaurin.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, they're very comparable teams. All right, let's get into what did we do? Your third sleeper?
Yeah, it was Washington football team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Okay, let's get into our week 1 matchup predictions. We got 8 games here.
What? Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for 1 sec.
What's up?
So for these predictions, that is where the punishment wheel will come into play.
Yes. Also, at the end of the season, our sleeper picks, whether they hit the over or the under, whether that stuff.
If they have a worse record than
all of our
predicted,
then
we have to spin it.
Will come with a punishment.
Yes.
Yes, and that would be greatly appreciated with the comments on what we should add to this.
Yes. Yeah. And to touch base on it more, every week we're going to do 8 matchup predictions, and whoever has the worst prediction record for those 8 games, that is the person who has to spin the wheel.
Yeah. So if I go 4-4 and Lucas goes 5-3, I have to spin the wheel. Vice versa. You get how it goes. So that's how we're gonna incorporate that, and that we'll record those videos and post those on YouTube for people that are watching.
If we tie, should we both spin it and we do the punishment together?
No. I think that's the out for both of us, at least in my mind.
Lame.
I'm good. We'll see what the punishments end up being. All right, let's get into these predictions. I'll go you first. Who you got? Seahawks at Colts.
I mean, self-explanatory.
Of course, yes.
I do think it's gonna be a good game. Seahawks are a really good team. It's gonna be a tough matchup. One of the best QBs in the league, if not the best, in Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But
I mean, one of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when he's on his game, I think he might be the best.
Right? Yeah.
And they have a piss poor offensive line though, and we have a really good defensive line. DeForest Buckner, first round pick in Kwity Paye. I think he's gonna be a monster.
Didn't even know who he was.
The door is right there, guy. But yeah, no.
I like who you guys took with your first pick. He goes, I've never even heard of the guy.
Yeah. I really wanted an offensive weapon in this year's draft, so when they took Kwity Paye, I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
All right, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I figured that's who you would choose, but I don't think it's anything crazy to say. Especially, okay, so who would you have picked if it was at Seattle?
Probably Seahawks.
Yeah.
I've heard they have one of the most intense fan bases to play in front of, in a packed house.
Yeah, especially a week 1 game. I got Seahawks just because I put Russ, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks, right? I think I put him in the category like we were talking about earlier. You don't want the ball in Brady's hands, right? Last.
Yeah.
That's how I view him, right? You don't want him having the ball, and I mean, how often do you see a score of that, where it's 9-6, and he's driving down with 2 minutes left in the game, and I'm putting money on him, right? That I think that he is, and especially to start the season, just kind of like how they did last year. I mean, he's got one of the best tandems in DK Metcalf and Lockett, just to start there. I think an above average running back, pretty good running back in Chris Carson, if he can stay healthy, but I don't think anything's going to happen in this matchup. I wouldn't expect. Suspect offensive line, suspect defense. I just trust Russell Wilson. I don't know. I think it's a very close call, though.
Yeah, I do think it'll be a close game.
Yeah.
But to go back to what you said about you don't want the ball in their hands in the final minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson does have a history of throwing picks in the end zone or the red zone.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
And the final minutes or final seconds of big games and clutch moments.
When they're supposed to run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same head coach is the one who called that play.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Moving on. Let's go. Steelers at Bills. I gotta assume we both got Bills here, right? I mean.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That fluke of a Steelers team last year, and look, they got talent, right? I think Ben gets hated on a little too much. I don't think he's near what he was in his prime, but I think 2 years ago, not maybe even 3, but not too long ago, he led the league in offensive passing yards. They have 3 good weapons in Juju, Deontay Johnson. I think that's the name, right?
Yeah.
And then
Chase Claypool,
right, out of Notre Dame. Yeah, so I think 3 really good weapons. Obviously, they spent their first pick on Najee, which I think really good player, can be a really good running back in the league. I don't think that addressed their dire need, which was offensive line. And drafting a running back with a horrible offensive line is like taking a quarterback with a horrible offensive line.
They lost a couple guys, right? A couple starters.
Pouncey is the big name one that I remember.
He retired.
I think there's another one too.
Was it Villanueva they lost?
I don't know the names. That sounds familiar, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I do. Bills defense is going to be improved from last year, I think, to about middle of the pack, if not a little bit better. I just don't think they're beating Josh Allen. I don't see it happening.
No.
I think you could argue he was as important to his team as any other team in the last season. You got Rodgers up there, obviously Mahomes, and then probably Brady, of course. But, I mean, if their team's success was solely because of him, right? Like, I don't know. I think a lot, like Brady, you could argue their defense carried a lot for them. I mean, even in the Super Bowl, that's why I think they won. I just don't see Josh Allen losing that game. I don't see it.
I got nothing to add to that.
Yeah.
Same pick.
Okay.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
All right. This one I like a lot, okay, because this is kind of my sleepers and who I think is going to take the wild card spot. Dolphins at Patriots. I got Patriots. Who you got?
I got the Dolphins.
Really? Tell me why.
So I really like Brian Flores as a head coach.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's done a great job turning that team around. Also, he used to be one of Belichick's assistant coaches.
Oh, God.
And I think that's
You're not.
He's got some fire in his belly.
All right, Matt Patricia. All right, let's come
Brian
on.
Flores has proven to be a much better head coach than Matt Patricia.
I know, but I think more guys have flamed out that have come from the Belichick tree than have succeeded.
That's fair, but I think Brian Flores is not
what's
one
the
of
name?
those guys.
Vrabel, the Tennessee guy, right?
Yeah.
So he came from there too, right? I think I think him.
Actually, I don't know if he was
Flores.
a coach.
I don't even know is there yet.
I don't think
But I think
Vrabel
he's
was a
on his
coach
way.
under Belichick. I think he was just a player. He was a linebacker for the Patriots.
Okay, maybe I was off on that. But yeah, I mean, I think that Dolphins team and what Flores has done the past 2 seasons, I think it's been really good. I think he's got them playing really well. I think they've hit on some draft picks. I think they've got some decent weapons with Waddle, Fuller, and Parker.
That's another big reason of mine. They have better weapons than the Patriots
Gesicki
do.
or Gesicki, I don't know which, either or. But yeah, I think it just comes down to Tua, and I think his arm. And I was a big Tua guy, I was big.
You had a hard on for Tua.
I liked Tua a lot, and not only have I cooled down on that, I just don't think I don't think his arm is as strong as it needs to be. It looks like his short passes, like his intermediate passes, it looks like he's giving his all just to get the ball there. I think he's still successful with the mobile aspect. I just think that, and nobody really paid much attention to it, at least I didn't, how heavy the RPO offense was for him at Bama, and how much it was just, here, let me get you this ball, and you're first round receiver, running back, and you're going to score an 80-yard touchdown on one of these, right? So I think he made, and obviously his entrance into the college football world was as good as you could expect, right? And with him coming in against Georgia in the national championship game in the second half.
Yeah, took the job from
stole my heart, dude. Yeah, I was obsessed with him. I don't think he has what it takes to be one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think he can play in the league. I don't think I think that Bill Belichick is going to scheme a game plan up good enough with all their defensive guys coming back. I think that the Patriots are going to beat him, and I think they're going to beat him pretty handily. I really do, especially at home.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be a good game. This was a hard pick for me.
Yeah.
But end of the day, I do think that Brian Flores, with his young roster in the Dolphins, they do have a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
Nice young weapons.
They do.
I think he'll be able to scheme something up for Tua to get the job done.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a good
I
game, too. Cause
I still want Tua to succeed.
Tua versus
I just
Mac
don't see it.
Jones.
Yeah.
Former
Bama,
teammates.
Bama,
Yeah, it's going to be a good game to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Mac Jones era. I really am. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
You think it's going to be good?
Yeah, I think that they need. I depending on where the record is, middle of the season, and who is maybe on sort of the trading block, I think that they go for a bigger weapon. Obviously, I love their 2 tight ends, and Henry and Johnny Smith, but I think, and they have a really good offensive line, especially built for rushing. I think they have multiple running backs that are pretty good, that they're going to use a lot of them, and I think they're going to make it as easy as they can on Mac Jones, if that makes sense. I think they're going to style it the way they kind of did with Brady, where it's very much reads on short plays and short passes, intermediate passes. I don't see him going deep too often, especially with the lack of targets they have out wide. I think Bill Belichick is going to game manage for him really well throughout the season. That's why I have him as one of my sleeper picks, but that's why I have him. I just like Mac Jones better than Tua, and that's where it comes down to me.
That's
how
fair.
it comes down to it for me.
I was never a Tua fan. I always thought he was overhyped coming out.
Yeah, I do like the Dolphins, though. All right, next we got Ravens at Raiders. Even with the Ravens doing the crate challenge at practice, I still got the Ravens pulling out this one at Raiders here. I mean, my God, man, 3 season-ending injuries for your running backs, and then one of your starting corners goes down too.
Bro, they gotta get off TikTok, man.
I mean, my goodness, that's tough.
With the Marcus Peters and the Gus Edwards injury, it was like
back to back,
and it's like end of practice, right?
Well, I don't know if it was the end of practice or if they just ended practice.
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, it's just absurd that that's happened. Like,
because if it was towards
my
the
heart's
practice,
broken with Gus Edwards.
Yeah. So what?
Gus, I don't know.
Because first it was Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters, right?
Yeah, I think that's how it went.
So if it was towards the end of practice and Gus Edwards, your starting running back, after you already lost your previous starting running back,
your future.
Yeah. Tears his ACL. I'm calling practice right there.
Probably. Yeah. I mean,
like
I don't disagree with you there. I mean, at least they called it after the second one. God, man, that's disappointing. But yeah, I have them beating the Raiders there in almost at Oakland, in Las Vegas. I don't know if I'm buying into all this Gruden.
Plus, they don't really have any good
jumbo,
receivers.
dude. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, Ruggs, but he hasn't really proven that much.
He hasn't proven anything at all. I think he's a player to watch out for, especially in fantasy. But you got Waller, you got Jacobs. I mean, Kenyon Drake's a nice maybe receiving back, change of pace back. But I don't think Carr's the guy. I think he's a poor man's Ryan Tannehill.
That's fair,
right? Like I think he's that style of game manager with a little bit less talent. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's Mike Mayock. They're not getting rid of Gruden, but I one of them's going because they made traded for all these draft picks, right? They got rid of Khalil Mack as soon as he got there. I think is how it went, right? They got him, and then got rid of Mack. Got all these draft picks, which is always nice, right? It's always exciting to trade for draft picks because your future, right? That's what people care about.
Especially the haul they got.
Yeah, but none of them have hit. Like, I mean, Josh Jacobs is it, really. I mean, that's about, like...
Wasn't Abrams one of the picks? Or no?
I don't know.
If he was,
I want to say he was already there. I'm not positive.
He's a hard-hitting dude, but he got there last year in preseason.
Yeah,
early.
But what does any of this come out to be? They're taking... Yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact names or even the exact spots they were taken at, but I've just remembered the past at least 2 seasons, their higher round draft picks being heavily scrutinized by multiple people that work in scouting as their job and putting together these mock drafts. Like, didn't understand their picks, and you gotta believe that Gruden has a huge say in who they're taking.
They've had a couple reaches in the last couple drafts,
and I think it's Gruden pulling the strings, and Mike Mayock is gonna take the L for it all. So I just don't see that situation ending well. I also think Lamar is gonna have an incredible year, especially with these running backs going down. That MVP year, their lead running back was Mark Ingram. Last year, by no means a down year rushing for him, but they get J.K. Dobbins to take a little bit of load off Lamar. They've lost everybody. I think that Lamar is going to have another crazy good running year. Not a huge thing to say, but I think that they're going to do okay.
Dude, they stacked up on free agent running backs. Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman,
Murray,
Latavius Murray, all wash. But
I mean, Latavius is supposed to start too, dude. I mean,
on paper, that looks like
I'm so
really
sad
nice
about that fantasy-wise, but yeah. All right,
running back cross.
Yeah, got a lot of Pro Bowls on that. Running back. Yeah. Okay, next we got Cardinals at Titans. I, in my opinion, one of the best games of the week. I just think that they're 2 really good teams that need to prove something. I think the Titans have a little bit more to prove because the Cardinals haven't had the success that they wanted to yet. I think Titans are, I don't want to say make or break here, but there's a lot of expectations coming from them. I guess it's an upset, right? I mean, I got Cardinals pulling this one off.
Spicy.
Yeah, a little. I think a little. Taco Bell mild, I think. Just a little bit. I really like Kyler Murray. I love DeAndre Hopkins, obviously one of the best receivers, top 3 in my opinion, just talent-wise. We'll see what the offensive line looks like. I like Chase Edmonds. Defense is suspect, so that's why it's kind of a ballsy pick for me when the Titans have 2 really good wide receivers and the Cardinals. I saw that they posted a flyer for tryouts at cornerback at the gym the other day. Brutal, man. So it is a tough pick for me to even go with the Cardinals. I have zero care for them in the world, even though I'm from Arizona. I like what they got going on offense. I really like the Titans too. I feel like I had to make a spicy pick. Definitely not gonna be surprised if the Titans win. But I got Cards coming out. I think Murray has a great day. I think Cliff. Is it Cliff or Kiff? It's Cliff, right? Cliff. I think that dude's seat is as hot as can be.
Yeah.
Has he ever had a winning record in his life? Going back to college, he never did.
Yeah.
And he had Patrick Mahomes, dude. I mean, it was a weird signing at the time. It was one of those things like, okay, maybe they saw something we didn't, and that clearly isn't what the situation was. Who do you got? Who do you got winning this?
I have the Titans.
Yeah. Okay.
And I disagree with what you said, how the Titans have more to prove than the Cardinals. I feel like there's been so much hype around the Cardinals more than there has been around the Titans.
Has there been hype around the Cardinals, or has there just been hype around Cardinals in Arizona?
I just think they're talked about more than the Titans.
In Arizona, or just you think in
Just
general?
around the league in general. Because
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Cliff Kingsbury, new head coach. Like, Titans
not
got to
new,
the
this
AFC
is his third year,
Championship. I think it just kind of like fizzled out after that.
That's why I think they have a lot to prove. You know, that's. I think both teams have a lot to prove in their own right. I just think that the Titans were on the brink of something so much bigger than the Cardinals were. The Cardinals were on the brink of plus 500 season and maybe making playoffs. That was it. I think they have a lot to prove, especially the head coach individually. You know, they both have a lot to prove. I just think that the Titans have more to lose with a disappointing season. I guess is kind of how I was.
That's true.
Meaning that.
But I think the Julio Jones edition is massive.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, Corey Davis, good receiver. He's not Julio Jones, even at the end of his career, which he's probably still got 3 years left. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he does get hurt a lot, but his talent hasn't taken much of a fall, I don't think. I mean, he's
Is he on the Jets now?
Yeah. Really stacking up for Zack Wilson over there.
Oh, dude.
All right.
Weapons on weapons.
Moving on, we got Eagles at Falcons. This one will be fun to talk about just because of our good friend Garrison and our fantasy team, our league, avid Eagles apologist.
Fly, Eagles, fly, baby.
Good Lord. It's not... I don't know what he sees in them. So Eagles at Falcons. I got Falcons. Obviously, they were one of my sleeper picks. I think that offense is just going to be too much for the Eagles to handle. I don't think it being at the Falcons gives the Falcons a huge advantage, but I think if it were in Philly, it would give the Eagles a bigger advantage, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
So the Eagles don't have the home advantage, but they're also, I mean, they're not losing much being on the road. I just don't think that they're going to be able to keep up with that offense. I think Ridley's going to torch them. I think Pitts is going to torch them in the red zone. I don't even dislike Jalen Hurts. I just don't think he's the answer. I don't even think Philly thinks he's the answer. I think they're going to make a hard push going up against Miami for Deshaun Watson at some point this year or next year, whatever that may be. I think Hurts, they're just saying all the things that they're supposed to say, and if he plays well, he plays well. If they don't, then they said everything they're supposed to say. I just don't think that they're a good team. I really don't. I think they have so much to prove. I think whoever their trainer is should have been long gone about 3 years ago, because they have half their starting lineup on offense and defense is hurt in the first 3 weeks every year. Doesn't give them a chance. So let's see if they can even first stay healthy, and then second, put a season together.
Do you even think their trainer's licensed?
Dude, I have no idea.
They just pulled some dude off the streets of Philly.
That's something like you're putting your resume together. You want to leave off that you were the trainer for the Eagles. You don't want to put that on there. Like, who are your sources? Not them. I didn't work for them. All right, who you got?
For the Boys and Girls Club.
Who you got? Eagles at Falcons.
I have the Eagles actually.
Oh God.
Why? I think Jalen Hurts.
Did he
He
give
still has a
you
lot to
money?
prove, but I think
Did Garrison pay you to say that?
maybe we have a little like trade worked out.
Oh God.
Hype up the Eagles
Oh,
for our
boy.
fantasy league.
All right.
But I do like Jalen Hurts. I think he has a lot to prove, but I love his persona. Like, the dude means business.
I love him.
Like,
Yeah.
no BS
good.
dude.
Seems like a really
humble,
good dude.
hard worker. Definitely does have a lot to prove, though. And also, like you said, like, they had a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked at the roster. I don't know if, like, a lot of those starters are back and healthy this year. I think that will make a big difference, though, if they are. I like their weapons. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert,
You
Devontae
like
Smith.
Zach Ertz though?
He's getting up there with age, but I still think he's capable of producing. Not as much as he used to.
This almost sounds crazy, but he's basically Jimmy Graham now. No, I mean, what is he doing? What did he do last year? They tried to. They were begging to trade him.
Last year was just a shit show.
They almost said, here's
all
Ertz
around
and a 7th-round pick. You don't have to give us anything. They were shopping him as hard as they were shopping Wentz.
I thought Miles Sanders was going to pop off. They didn't really do that much. Like, decent
but
year,
that
but
was
didn't
that was
pop off.
injury. I don't. Their offensive line was tortured. We've seen it with Saquon. Doesn't matter how good you are. If we see it with quarterbacks, it doesn't matter how good you are if your offensive line is horrible.
Well, that's
It
what I'm
doesn't
saying.
matter.
Like, if their offensive line is healthy this year,
Exactly. That's why they have so much to prove. I don't think you. Yeah.
I just like them better in this
I wouldn't be
matchup.
surprised if they won. I guess. Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a good game.
I love Devonta Smith.
Plus, Falcons really haven't had that good of a defense the last few years.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to put the Falcons on a pedestal here. I don't understand any Eagles hype, and I don't know if there actually is or if it's just Garrison putting that just garbage in our heads. But I don't see it. I mean, they're in a division where at least they can suck and still possibly come out. I mean,
They just need to throw that division
the
away.
winner of that division could have 6 wins this year. Who knows? Okay.
Maybe 5.
All right, moving on. Another exciting matchup. Jaguars at Texans. Okay.
Game of the week.
Barring a tie, I guess somebody has to win this game. Playing anybody else other than these two teams, I would never have guessed that any of them would start the season off 1-0. I guess I'm going Jaguars. For no reason other than the Texans are just absolute garbage. I don't see them being good in any way, shape, or form. They're still trading guys that, like, they're just like, oh, you start? Okay, see ya. Like, we are going 0-17 this year, one way or another. Like, so that's why I'm going Jags. I like James Robinson. I like the fact that they got, obviously, Trevor Lawrence in there. I think it's a low-scoring, boring Jaguars win, where I think they go almost 200 rushing yards, sub 200 passing yards, and just beat them with maybe a touchdown in the entire
Really?
game.
Sub 200 passing yards?
I don't think that they care to try to pass that much. I think they're going to run the shit out of it. I think they're going to just try to get ahead early and then just take it easy on Lawrence, because their offensive line is suspect too. Granted, they're going against, high school JV defensive line, but
I don't know about sub 200, though. I say Lawrence throws for...
I mean, around, like 190 is my guess.
I say Lawrence throws for 260 in his first game.
I think they really try to protect him, especially
I hear you.
just against a team that isn't supposed to be good whatsoever. I don't know. That could also be a reason for them to try to be a little bit more risky, let them open it up more. I just don't see the Texans winning a game, man. I'm sure they'll accidentally win one, just like the Jets did last year. I just don't. I don't think there's a game. If there is a game where I'd pick them to win, it would be this one, and I still don't know. I'm still not obviously picking them. So.
I think it's going to be an easy one for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Texans would struggle in the AFL.
This season?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson had the best year ever turned in by a quarterback for a sub 500 record, and they weren't like 7-8, or was it 7-9? Right? They were 4-12. Like, you have a top 5 quarterback, and y'all went 4-12, man.
Ever since they traded away Hopkins, that organization.
Oh, it was
not
not even then, dude. As soon as what was the coach? I forget his name.
Bill O'Brien.
As soon as they made him coach and GM, they should have been flushed down the toilet as
They're
the
trying to do
entire
like a little
organization.
Bill Belichick.
Dude, who do you think you are? That's another one. He was out of the Belichick tree, right? I could have sworn he was out of the Belichick tree.
No, I think he came from Penn State. He might have worked under Belichick at some point.
I think at some point
he might have worked under
him or
him.
maybe Saban. But yeah,
I know him from Penn State. That's
either way, what did he do to prove? Like, that was mind-boggling. All right, enough time talking about that garbage of a program. Last one here, we got Browns at Chiefs. I think and even though the Chiefs are my AFC pick and Super Bowl pick, very tough for me to choose Chiefs here. If it was at Cleveland, I would have gone Browns. I think the Browns are another one of those teams that are Super Bowl caliber if you just take away the quarterback, right? But they're not Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, they're Baker Mayfield. So it's still a step up. I don't think he's the guy you give a Josh Allen contract to. I think I don't even know who to comp him to. I think he's good. He's average. I think he's just above par, like for what you would take in the NFL right now. I think I don't know. I think he does the things he excels at is he can't go outside of that. If that makes sense. Like I just don't think he has that little bit of extra specialness to him that a Mahomes or an Allen or a Rodgers or a Brady, like stuff like those guys that even like a Lamar, they have something to their game in which they're arguably the best at this part of the game in the league. And I don't think he's there. I think they're the rest of their team, like top to bottom, probably the best just roster if you take away QB. I think they truly are. And I mean, they almost beat the Chiefs, right? Who was the backup QB that came in for Mahomes? They went for it on that 4th and 1 and ended the game. Like, I mean,
Chad Henne.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they almost won that game. Like, they are a really good team. I really do think that, and I barely am choosing Chiefs as this a Week 1 opener just because they're at home. I would have gone Browns the other way if it was in Cleveland. Who you got?
You make a good argument, but I'm going Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
Chiefs at home, Patty Mahomes.
I don't
upgraded
see
O-line.
it. Yeah, I don't see them losing, man.
Yeah, you just can't bet against.
Well, I don't know if it's an upgraded O-line because when they were healthy last year, it was a really good O-line.
That's true.
I think it's just a healthier. It's
different.
Healthier
team. It's different.
I see if they lose, right? I think it will be because the O-line hasn't meshed well enough together and they haven't had enough time together. I think it'll be because Patrick Mahomes is under too much pressure. They don't have enough time to let the plays develop, and the Browns are going to run it down the Chiefs' throat. I think that's their recipe to win. So if they do win, that's how. That's what I think.
So now we got our 8 predictions for the week. Let's move on to our NFL award predictions for end of the year. I'll start this one off since you started off the Week 2 game predictions.
You wanna work our way up to MVP?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll start at the bottom of the list.
Let's go.
Start with rookies.
Let's go rookies, offense, defense, MVP.
All right, so
you got it.
I'm gonna start with my offensive rookie, Zack Wilson, baby.
Really?
Yes.
Well, okay. First off, my surprise there was based on his team. Not where he was the second overall pick.
Fair.
So why you got him that?
Just what he showed in the preseason.
Yeah.
Like he had the best preseason out of all the rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah. And he was taking first team.
What was that?
And his first team defense, offense for at least the first drive, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't
Fields
know,
wasn't taking first teams. Yeah, I mean.
I like Trevor Lawrence a lot.
Yeah.
I want to see him live up to the hype. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But just from what I saw in this preseason, I think Zack Wilson has the best chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. Yeah. I really like him, and I think me not choosing him just goes back to the argument of
it's the Jets.
It's the Jets. And that's also why, for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I didn't go with Trevor Lawrence. It's the Jaguars. Like, as good as they can be, it's going to be limited because of the teams they're on. They're just not good teams, man. And because of that, that leads me to my pick of Offensive Rookie of the Year in Mac Jones. I think it's probably going to be the favorite. How is he not? How is he not? I don't see him.
He just doesn't have that good of a receiving core.
But your team's record and whether you make the playoffs or not is so crucial. I feel like in that voting, I feel like their defense is going to be elite. I think their offensive line is incredibly good, and I think he is really good. I don't think he's. I don't know. I don't want to put a label on him this early. I mean, not playing a game yet in his career, but I think the expectations are high. I trust in a. Though Belichick has missed on a lot of picks, I don't know though. I think he's gonna do well in that offense. I think it's gonna be just geared perfectly for him. I think they're not gonna make it so it's open for him to make plenty of mistakes. They're gonna keep him reined in pretty well. So I think just based off of team success overall, I think that's why he's my pick for that. So yeah, I think 2. So we got 2 rookie QBs for Offensive Player of the Year or Rookie of the Year.
I mean, yeah, it's usually QB.
Usually. Jefferson should have won it last year, I think. Didn't he? Or was it Herbert? I don't even remember.
Honestly, I didn't even pay attention.
Either or should have. Yeah, but yeah, it's usually a QB.
It's hard to pay attention when you get heartbroken seeing your team lose in the playoffs, and you know no one's gonna win an award.
Yeah. And
Actually, I think Darius Leonard might have won Defensive Player of the Year, if I'm not wrong. Could be wrong.
Who?
Darius Leonard.
He won it last year? Defensive? Oh, rookie?
Yeah, he won Defensive
not sure.
or Defensive Rookie of the Year, I think,
I'm not
or
sure.
Defensive Player of the Year. One of the two, but best linebacker in the league. You know.
Yeah. Sure. Whatever. Roquan Smith is pretty good too. Okay, so Defensive Rookie of the Year, who you got?
Patrick Surtain.
Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Dude is a dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And I forgot.
I thought he was the best corner coming out of the draft.
I did too. And
Yeah.
I don't know who the other cornerback on the opposite side of the field is. Is it Chris Harris? Or is he? No, he's with the Chargers now.
I thought
Yeah, he's with the Chargers now.
they got Kyle Fuller from the Bears, I want to say.
I don't pay attention to the Broncos, but I do know they have
Fair
a
enough.
they have a solid defense. And
Yeah.
I think he's a great addition to that defense.
Yeah, they're very young and up and coming, and supposedly one of the front runners for the Aaron Rodgers, sweepstakes in a year from now.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening.
That is
Yeah,
a
no.
team that is missing a QB, and that's their missing piece. I
Yeah,
believe.
we'll see what the defense looks like. I still think they're unproven a little bit, but I mean, it's on. That's a team I don't understand how you pass on a Justin Fields, man. I just don't understand. Like, and I don't want to get too far off topic here, but like you pass on a quarterback, right? You take somebody else to fill a different need, meaning I'm giving our guy one more year, right? I'm giving Locke one more try, and then you open the season with Teddy Bridgewater instead of Locke.
I think they were
What?
banking on getting Rodgers.
That's
When that whole
that's
fiasco started,
that's the only solution. But if that's the case, I mean, banking a lot on a big if there. Because if I'm Rodgers, I'd rather go to Washington. I mean, easier division by a lot,
Yeah.
landslide,
Yeah.
way easier route. I mean, if I'm choosing a team to go to, I'm choosing the NFC, not the AFC. So,
fair.
but yeah, I mean, I love Surtain love that pick. I got Micah Parsons just because I think he's a freak of nature. I think he can also he can stat pad on a defense that's gonna give up a lot of points, a lot of yards. So I think he's gonna be able to stat pad with tackles, maybe get a few picks. I would definitely not solidified in that pick, but I think that's my pick. Yeah.
Plus, working alongside Van Der Esch, I think it's going to take some pressure off of him.
Yeah.
So, good pick. I respect it. But
Yeah.
it's going to be Surtain.
All right, so you want to do comeback player of the year?
Yeah, I mean, this one, we both have the same guy.
Yeah.
After Thursday's game and just before the injury that happened last year, just
Yeah, Dak
and
Prescott.
Cassia's around him, Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I was really worried about the shoulder deal, but yeah, he obviously looked really good.
Yeah.
So I kind of answered all my questions in a performance like that against a defense that is arguably the best defense coming into the season. Like if you were to just pick the top few, they're probably in people's top three at least, and he tore them apart. So definitely. I mean, that's pretty easy for me. I think it was for you too. So we got comeback player of the year. Both of us got Dak. Let's do defensive player of the year. Who you got?
I have T.J. Watt. And shout out to you, T.J. Watt. You just got that bag,
He
my
did.
guy. And
Pretty
well
cool.
deserved.
Pretty cool that he went against his agents and just walked into the office. You see that?
I didn't even know that, no.
So the day he signed, I guess the agents were like, "We can get a few more, not a few more. We can get more in this contract than what they're offering." And he just ignored them. I guess walked into the office of the
Gave him the
Steelers
finger?
and signed it. I don't know about that, but
Metaphorically
speaking, yeah.
I
So he
love
walked
it.
into the Steelers office, signed the contract, and like, I'm out of here.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, so I like that pick a lot. I got Chase Young. I just think he is probably the closest thing in my opinion, just as far as like just raw human, just like how built and scary of a person that is to
He is
Aaron
a
Donald.
scary man.
Like I think he's so big, he's so strong, he's so fast. Great season for him last year. I think he's
Oh, yeah.
I like him a lot. I think on that defense as a whole, you can't double him because there's other guys that you have to pay attention to, so that's going to free up a lot of room for him still. I'm sure he'll still get double teamed, but yeah, that's my pick there. Who you got for offense player there?
I have CMC, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, you just stole this fucking guy. This guy.
He's just too versatile, and he's pretty much that whole offense that has been the last few years.
Yeah, and what's weird is this would also qualify for comeback player of the year, right? But I think for me it was a toss-up for him, and then you got Kelsey, and then I would have also tossed in Derrick Henry. Any of those three wouldn't surprise me if they get it. I just went McCaffrey because he's kind of a do-it-all type of person for them. We might even see a decrease in touches. One, because of the injury last year, and then two, because they have other weapons. But I got him too. I think it's a toss-up between the top 4 target or talents in the league right now.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And he's the guy you want on your fantasy team as well.
Oh, he's good. I mean, he's just the consensus number 1 pick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
MVP.
Yeah.
Leading up to it.
Who you got?
Not who you think it'd be, obviously, because we just wanted to hype it up. Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was close. I wanted, I mean, even my pick's not spicy. I'm going with my comeback player of the year pick, Dak Prescott.
Oh, shit, I thought we were the same guy. Sorry about that.
No. I was just surprised because I thought you were going to be actually spicy. Yeah, no. I was like...
I was being sarcastic.
You totally lured me in. You got me. Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me not to pick him. I just wanted to be a little, not even outside of the box, but just not the exact sure thing like my picks to win the Super Bowl in the AFC. So I got Dak Prescott as MVP. Yes, this is coming after watching the first week. So, I mean, I've definitely got a little bit of a sample size to see. If he wouldn't have performed well or looked uncomfortable, I would have a different pick. But he answered, like I said, he answered all my questions of just how I thought he might perform, what could be holding him back. And it seemed like the answer to that is nothing. He looked really good. I think he's just a really good talent to go along with a really smart quarterback. I think that combo is really good, and barring injury, I think that's going to be at least a top 3 candidate, top 5 throughout the entire season. We'll see if he wins, but that's my pick.
I like it. I respect it.
Thank you.
So,
all right.
Let's move on to our fantasy sleeper picks.
Yeah, covered the NFL, our predictions. We got we'll get into fantasy. Who are your 3 sleepers you got?
My 3 sleepers for this season: Michael Pittman. I think he's gonna be a dog.
Yeah.
He just showed flashes last year.
Yeah.
Obviously, has a lot to prove, but I think this year will be his breakout year.
Okay.
Second one, Laviska Shenault for the Jags.
I like him.
I really liked him out of college.
Yeah.
I think he showed
Where do you
flashes last year.
Where do you go to college?
Colorado, I think.
Okay.
Pac-12 school. He's got Trevor Lawrence, really good QB. And he also has DJ Chark lining up on the other side.
Yeah.
Gonna take some pressure off him.
Yeah.
I just think he's gonna pop off this year.
Yeah.
And my third and final one, my biggest sleeper, is Sony Michel. I don't think that Darrell Henderson is going to be the guy for the Rams.
You been reading reports at all?
No.
Okay.
I got a job, man.
Okay. I would
Not
read some
until you
reports.
don't.
No. I would just I would read some reports. Yeah, he's like not even considered. I mean, we'll see. He could be.
Well, is he not considered like the second?
He's the second, but he's not.
He's not even considered like the first guy.
No, it's still Henderson. They got.
Hey, that's why he's a spicy.
All right, he's a sleeper.
Spicy one.
I like Shenault. I like your Pittman, even though it's Colts. But I do have 2 Bears out of my 3 sleepers. So what can I say? Yeah, exactly. What can I? Okay, so my non-Chicago Bear for sleepers, I got Mecole Hardman. He's replacing Gus Edwards. The recent sad news coming out of the Ravens camp with just another 2 injuries, him being one of them. Thought Gus Edwards was going to have a breakout year. I swapped him out with Mecole Hardman. I think Mecole's going to be really good. He's stepping up and getting a bigger role with Sammy Watkins not there. I think also, I mean, obviously when somebody that's above you gets hurt, obviously your production chance increases. But I think when somebody, like if a possibility would ever happen where Tyreek pulls something or is out for just a few weeks or hopefully not any longer, but if that were to happen, I think a guy like Mecole, incredibly fast, top end speed, really good route runner. I think he had a little bit of an issue dropping balls, but I think that's something he will improve on. I just think, I still think his ceiling is pretty high, even with the Tyreek and Kelsey there getting targets. I think that offense is just built to feed so many mouths. If you're gonna take any of the 3 or 4 or 5 targets on the Bucs, I think it's crazy to not take a chance on Mecole Hardman. So he's my first sleeper. Now getting to my Chicago Bears sleepers. I got Cole Kmet. He's already the number one tight end on the roster. I think they're going to phase Jimmy Graham out throughout the season as that goes. And I think for both of these guys, as soon as Fields gets the job, their production is just going to skyrocket. Fields is the most accurate quarterback last year, I believe, in college. He was the most accurate deep ball passer they've seen in college in a long time. And that's what the Bears, they've been missing a quarterback since the beginning of time.
I've ever seen you happier than the day that Justin Fields got drafted.
And only because, of course I'm a Bears fan. It's obviously going to come off biased. I promise you he was my number 2 quarterback going into that draft. I thought he was barely behind Trevor Lawrence. And I could also make an argument that he's better. I thought he was better. We just so happened to draft him. I was ecstatic. And that leads me to my third sleeper, who I think they're just going to be one of the best tandems in the NFL. Obviously a pretty risky call just to be calling that. There's, of course, some bias going into it. Darnell Mooney, my third sleeper. I picked him up and dropped him a good 20 times in about 12 weeks of fantasy
probably
last year.
20 times within 1 week, dude.
I love him. I can't. He had no chance with Trubisky. He had no chance with Foles. He might be okay with Dalton, but we're talking about a guy who had the most cushion off the line in the entire NFL, more than Tyreek, more than Henry Ruggs, more than a Hardman last year, top-end speed guys, right? He was given more cushion off the line from DBs than anybody else in the league, and he was a rookie last year. He is a deep ball guy. He runs great routes, great quickness, and I think that only is just going to be amplified when Fields gets the starting nod. So those are my sleepers, and we got a little bit of bias in ours, but
a little side story relating to Justin Fields and the Bears and his obsession with them. So we took a 7-hour road trip to Colorado earlier this year, and it was around the time of the draft. So while we were in Colorado, staying with
the
his
draft
mom,
had just happened, right?
we were watching some of the draft at your mom's.
Like the
also,
second day, third day.
Shout out Miss Jackie and Dave. Thank you guys so much for letting us stay with you. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. We'll definitely be back to visit sometime soon. But yeah, no, on the drive back, so Justin Fields had been drafted at this point. 7 hours in the ride back. I'm not exaggerating at all. I probably had to hear him talk about Justin Fields and the Bears for at least 80% of that drive.
And you know how sorry I am? Not at all. Not even a little bit. I could give less shits. If you're around me and it's NFL season, you're going to hear about it because I can't be more excited. He hasn't stepped on the field for any meaningful time yet, and he's the best quarterback we've ever had in our history.
I actually slipped a little bit of melatonin in your water just so you'd fall asleep and shut up. And I could have some peace with the last 2 hours of the trip.
All right, Carson Wentz. Chill out. Chill out. All right, let's move on.
Actually,
what?
For time purposes, I think top 5 performance is not that big of a subject.
Well,
we could cut that.
Yeah, it's just the big names. I'll roll through mine real quick in order. I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got Kelsey, Henry, Adams, Cook, and then top performer McCaffrey.
Yeah, these are our top 5 performers for fantasy football this year.
Fantasy football, yes. They're the shoe-ins as they are every year.
Basically.
All right. Let's get to our bust for fantasy. Do you want to start off?
You go.
All right. And this kind of pains me. My first one is kind of my biggest claim here as far as bust go, because I really like the guy, Austin Eckler. Really like him. Good dude. Crazy talent, in my opinion. I think, especially with the injury from last year that held him out for more than half the season, I think. They're going to start going more to a running back by committee just so they save his legs a little for his future, for the next few years there while they're trying to build something really special there. I don't see them giving him the ball in short downage yards. I don't see them giving him the ball on goal line. I just don't see it. I think obviously his production will be good, if not really good, on the passing end. I just don't see him as a top tier RB. Not in fantasy. I think his talent's there. I don't see it being where his average ADP is right now. At least I don't see that.
That's fair.
Yeah, and then I got this one. I'm not even gonna spend time talking about it. If you draft the Bills running back and are even considering putting them in your starting lineup, I don't care.
Is it a bust
how many
though,
flexes
if they're not hyped up? Because I feel like those might be sleeper picks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not to cut you off.
No, I know. Yeah, I just wanted to throw out there if you are considering even drafting a Bills running back, what are you doing? Because at any point in the year, are you going to start? I would start. What's the dude's name for the? I don't even know his name. The pass catching back for New England.
James White.
Yeah, I'd start him over any if I had to. Like like an injury just happened, and 2 guys are on a bye. Right, you have to start somebody. I'm starting him over any running back.
Dump plays.
Yeah, like I'm not putting in a Bills running back in any given week, no matter how dire my need may be for a running back. I'm not doing it. And then my last bust, Damian Harris, and I know you're big on this, but you're big on him as a breakout guy. Again, he's one of those guys just like Austin Eckler, has nothing to do with him as a player or a talent. I think his talent is really good. I think he's a great player.
Just game plan and stuff.
Yeah, that's all. I think they're going to be one of those teams that are pretty heavy in the RB by committee. We just talked about dude that's going to be getting all their passing game, James White. I think they're going to use another back in there as a change of pace. I think that he will probably get most of the goal line stuff, and now without Cam there, I think that only helped him. I just think that people might be a little too high on him. That's all. But Austin Eckler is my biggest bust, I would say. Who you got?
So I only have one bust.
Oh, all right.
And
Don't say Darnell Mooney.
dude, like he's not even a sleeper pick in my opinion.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
So I only have one bust. It was originally Josh Jacobs, but I went back and.
Sorry, my fault.
No, you're good. I was just looking at stats, and he had 3.9 yards per carry last year. So I thought he was probably gonna have another down year this year and just slip and fall and teeter off. But after going back and watching some of his highlight tape, that dude is a monster.
Yeah.
And he has Kenyon Drake now to take some load off.
Yeah.
But after Thursday's game, I'm switching my bust to my first round pick, Ezekiel Elliott.
I mean, that's raw honesty. I'm actually surprised that you're man enough to admit how awful of a pick that was. I mean,
And let me be clear, it's a keeper league, so we already had 10 players off the board in our first round. So I'm not that
like
dumb.
Myles Gaskin and Antonio Gibson. I mean, you took Zeke over Ridley. You took Zeke over Hopkins, over Diggs.
I think that
over Clyde, over Mixon, over Robinson. Like,
I think Mixon's severely overrated, and I was gonna swoop Robinson in the third round, but you took him before me.
yeah,
You two picks before me in the second
I
round.
just don't think
Or
Zeke
third
has
round.
it anymore. So I guess I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's tough. I just don't. I think Pollard's a better running back, and I don't think that's that absurd.
after what I
of a
saw
statement.
Thursday, I agree with you. I think
Yeah.
Zeke's fading out. Pollard's gonna be the new guy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Pollard's been around for a while. It's not like he's even like a new guy. You know, they've had him for at least 2 years, maybe even 3. I mean,
I've been trying
I
to
think
shop.
it's early to say takeover, but it's happening.
I've been trying to shop Zeke around in our fantasy league with everyone, and honestly, for what I've been getting offered and counter offers, I can go find someone better on waivers. Just, the disrespect is unreal, dude. Just
This man offered me some sort of garbage trade package for Devontae Adams, who was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy last year. I spit up whatever food I was eating just because I couldn't contain the laughter. It was I didn't know it was a good joke. Then I found out you were being serious, and Ezekiel Elliott. I'm good.
it was Ezekiel Elliott
I
and Justin
am good.
Jefferson for James Robinson and Devontae Adams. I don't think it's that bad of a
I
trade.
think it's that bad of a trade. You're offering a running back who literally just scored 5 points. It wasn't before the
to be
horrible
fair,
run.
he didn't have that many touches that game.
He had 11.
And he was
had 11,
facing one of the best defensive
11
lines in the league
carries for
with a
33
hurt
yards.
offensive line. But
I wasn't impressed. But they're a passing team. Their defense is so bad that they're required to pass the ball. So not only has their offense changed, but he's not even their best passing back or receiving back. He's not going to be out there that much. And they had an elite defense to match up with a good O-line. Yeah, Zeke's a really good pick. I would agree. I just don't think that they're going to utilize him nearly that much at all. I just don't see it happening. But it was your pick, so I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. All right.
Spain.
So that,
Spain without the S.
that'll conclude our NFL and fantasy episode. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you so much. Our very first episode.
Yeah.
If you're tuning in, if you're still tuned in this long into it, we went a lot longer than we expected.
And we had a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Week 1, episode 1. Yeah.
But it was a fun first episode.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, baby.
All right.
But yeah.
Tune in for our next episode. We'll have guest guest Ryan Bender and Kyle Snyder on with us talking about golf.
And
It's exciting.
have some very interesting stories, or they have some very interesting stories to tell.
Yes.
So you'll definitely want to tune into that one and listen. But please leave a like, comment, subscribe, shout us out, and also we'll be posting some polls on our Twitter page and maybe Instagram story. So go check those out when we drop them. And yeah, so we'll link all that stuff in the description or whatever. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for tuning
guys.
in. Also, one last thing. Shout out to the boy Hoffa for making this our intro beat for the video.
There you go. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Dude
It's
is
a good beat.
fire.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Has vocals like Fergie and Jesus combined. And he has sauce with the fingers on the keyboard.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
All right.
See you next episode.
So public speaking courses come in handy.
Fucking online ones.
Your what?
I did an online public speaking course.
That doesn't count for shit. Taking communication courses online, but you know,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Nice, dude.